Some vehicles ask for your attention. This one demands it. From the deep front air dams to the massive vertical chrome grille, every geometric angle here is designed to dominate the street. Underneath that aggression is a Toyota Century SUV. Straight from the factory in Japan, this platform is engineered as a conservative, chauffeur-driven fortress. It is built specifically to move high-net-worth individuals through traffic in total, undisturbed silence. But the aftermarket aero kit applied to this specific chassis strips away that baseline restraint. The extended side skirts pull the bodywork closer to the asphalt, and the sharp lower lips jut out from the factory lines. The standard Century relies on stealth wealth, the ability to pass by unnoticed by anyone who doesn't know exactly what they are looking at. These heavy carbon fiber additions completely erase that subtlety. By bolting on this kit, the owner has taken a machine engineered for invisible, quiet luxury and turned it into an unavoidable magnet for polarizing, inescapable attention. This creates what we can call the Bespoke paradox. Adding extreme visual weight to an ultra-luxury platform inherently strips away its actual utility. We map this trade-off on a chart. Plotting aesthetic aggression against core refinement, the stock Century sits bottom right, zero aggression, maximum comfort. Bolting on aftermarket panels breaks that balance, launching it to the top left. That horizontal gap represents the engineering refinement thrown away. For most buyers, ruining a meticulously engineered ride makes zero sense. But for a very specific subset of ultra-wealthy owners, that trade-off is entirely acceptable. They aren't looking for a smooth commute. The Century functions here as a heavy, metallic instrument for personal branding, with its original utility as a transportation tool treated as a secondary concern. To see how that refinement is lost, look at the contact patch. This build drops thick factory tires for massive 23-inch wheels. A thick tire sidewall is a vehicle's first and most important layer of shock absorption. It absorbs potholes and expansion joints before that energy ever reaches the cabin. When you wrap a rim in a rubber band this thin, you delete that primary layer. When you pair those razor-thin tires with a lowered, stiffer sports suspension to close the wheel gap, the physics are unforgiving. Every crack in the pavement translates directly into the chassis, shattering the cloud-like ride the Century badge is famous for. You do gain sharper turn-in on a tight corner, but sharp cornering is an entirely irrelevant metric for a 6,000-pound SUV that exists to be driven smoothly. Getting the fenders to sit flush over the wheels forces a direct, physical downgrade to the vehicle's primary engineering objective. The compromises don't stop at the suspension. Look behind those spokes at the massive, bright yellow aftermarket braking system. Against the dark gray paint, the visual contrast is striking. And strictly mechanically speaking, strapping multi-piston calipers to a heavy vehicle does generate exceptional stopping power. Yet, track-focused brake pads require immense heat to function quietly. In stop-and-go city traffic, they never reach that optimal temperature. The result is a piercing, high-pitched squeal every time you roll up to a red light. Furthermore, aggressive pads shed a massive amount of abrasive dust. After a single afternoon of driving, those pristine black wheels will be caked in a dull gray film. You can force high-performance hardware onto an ultra-luxury platform, but you are importing noise and constant mess, the two exact things true luxury is supposed to insulate you from. Beyond the physical compromises, commissioning a one-of-one build introduces severe financial realities that don't apply to off-the-shelf cars. We track hidden costs on a penalty scorecard. Modifying the suspension voids the manufacturer warranty. You compound that daily cost with a harsher ride and squealing brakes. But the most devastating penalty is resale. Heavy modifications make the car worth less than stock. By taking on the engineering risk yourself, you guarantee that the hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on cutting up and customizing the car will never be recouped. Compare this to buying a stock Rolls-Royce Cullinan. You pay a massive upfront premium, but you retain full factory warranty, a comfortable ride, and a predictable, standardized depreciation curve. Commissioning custom work on this scale results in an unrecoverable sunk cost, where the buyer trades significant capital for the intangible value of one-of-one exclusivity. Car commercials have trained us to look at SUVs and imagine tearing across a sun-baked desert or a rocky trail at 50 miles an hour. But the aftermarket modifications we've just analyzed ensure this specific vehicle will never see a speck of dirt. The fantasy ends the moment the physics of the Aero Kit take over. An extended carbon fiber front splitter hovering inches off the ground has zero structural tolerance for uneven terrain. A single unseen rock on a dirt path will shatter the fascia instantly. You don't even need a desert to cost thousands of dollars in damage. The geometry of a steep parking garage ramp or a sharp urban driveway now requires careful angled navigation to avoid tearing off the bumper. By extending the body lines toward the ground, you entirely strip the utility out of the sport utility vehicle. It is permanently trapped on perfectly flat, perfectly paved roads. So, who actually benefits from taking a cutting wheel to a factory masterpiece? We can map out exactly who should and shouldn't commission a build like this. On this decision tree, the first question is ride tolerance. For supreme comfort, the path stops here. Buy the stock setup. If prioritizing visuals, do you demand ultimate exclusivity? If you'll burn capital to guarantee nobody else has your car, greenlight the project. If you value stealth wealth, or if the idea of voiding a factory warranty on a six-figure car keeps you awake at night, you need to avoid the aftermarket entirely. The perfect candidate for this modified Century is the high net worth disruptor, someone who views a $250,000 asset not as a precious heirloom, but as a disposable canvas to project their own aggression. In the ultra-luxury sector, you can have refinement or you can have total exclusivity, but you cannot have both. The absolute cost of dominating the street is the deliberate sacrifice of the very engineering that made the vehicle special in the first place.